Hello, everyone. Good morning, good evening, wherever you are logging from. We have just started a new series you might be knowing that architectural leading practices specific to SAP SuccessFactors. We've already covered 2 episodes, and in case you have missed it out, then you can also always go to the playlist in my YouTube channel. So simply go to my YouTube channel and from there search for this architectural leading practices. So at present, I have only one video I've uploaded, the yesterday's video, and today's it will be just updated very soon. In the first episode, we talked about the organizational structure, what are the typical ALP practice or architectural leading practices in the first episode. In the second episode, there are 2 parts. The first part, yesterday, we have started with the instance strategy. And today, we will continue with that because we couldn't complete that entire series yesterday, right? And if any question, if you are already part of my community, you can always feel free to ask the questions in the community sections. And how you can ask that, you can simply go to the school.successlabsacademy.com. If you've already signed up, go to the community sections, and from there, you can just ask question related to any ALP related topic. Right? It will be very generic. It is more of a conceptual sessions. We are not going to do any hands-on, but it is always worth going through those those all details about those communities and going through the documentations to the T. Right? That was the intention. So just to start with, now let's go to our mind map. What we have covered, whatever already we have covered, I'm just marking in the green color. So episode 1, we have already covered organization structure related stuff. And today we are in second episode of it. In second episode, first part, we have already started instance strategy. Yesterday we have discussed. So just to do a small recap, what we have seen, we have understood the concept of a data center, environment, instance, what is the client, all those in details we have understood with an examples, and why we need it, why this instance strategy is crucial for any organization to follow. That also we have covered there. So now, from a why point of view, if you see the regression testing, we also do an evaluation point of view. If you're doing any kind of a proof of concept, definitely you may require an additional instance. You can do it in the preview instance, but at the same time, you need a detailed if any data sensitive issue is there, like payroll and all, so you may require those kind of additional instance. That's again subject to your contract with SAP SuccessFactors. So those details and when to do it much before the implementation, before you optimize any strategy in your organization. And you have to also educate your trained people regarding that, right? And what are the tools available? So from an instance strategy, there are 3 tools majorly we have discussed, which are very crucial for any consultant to understand this. First thing is configuration center, where you can upload and download those XML, and you can configure specific component of those configurations from one instance to the another instance and all. Second one is second and third more popular, like instance sync and instance refresh. We might be hearing a lot, but many times consultants get confused. What is the key difference between these two? Even in interviews also, they do not they always get confused. They're not able to answer those properly, right? So the instance sync is nothing but your config copy. So you just copy the configuration, but there's no data copy will be happening there, right? But when I say instance refresh, you think of it's both configuration and data, both. So refresh is a both configuration and data we move, but in instance sync only configurations, right? So this is just you have to remember. And there are also tools available, which actually is a part of the today's episode. I've just yesterday I promised that which are the tools or which is the note you have to refer. This is the note actually you have to refer. Okay, instance refresh tool for BIHARI and LMS. So you have a different guidelines for LMS, and for key success factor thing, we have to also BIHARI already the typical SuccessFactors checksum suite. Okay, so you'll be finding the details about in this particular note. Okay, how to enable starting from end to end. Although there is an implementation guide also. But it is a comprehensive guide where exactly you will be getting all the details about it, right? And also, whenever you're doing this, also you have to understand what kind of limitation you might be having, right? So whether, let's say there are some limitations listed here. So to ensure you're not falling into this, any of the limitations. In case if you're falling, maybe you have to do a manual thing, right? So understand that also refer the latest note. I think this is the latest note which I have showing you, but at any point of time, okay, so if any specific module you are referring, it is a payroll or specific to any authorizations on jobs related stuff, refer this note, and this note will be very much helpful. And there are some FAQs also you will be getting, means any kind of troubleshooting, okay, you are facing, and it's not very smooth, even if it is already a couple of years SAP has started, but many times we get challenges during this. And also you plan, whenever if you're a project manager or a product owner in your organization, definitely plan this thing in advance. It is not a typical transport request in your SAP HCM. It is to take some time. It will take you plan it properly based on your module, based on your typical needs. So there is a lot of FAQs. Definitely, I will recommend this note. You have to refer this note or KBA, knowledge-based article. You must refer whenever you are planning for your instance strategy, right? So this is an instance refresh tool related note. So I will just put the link also in the mind map so that you will not miss it. So in the tool section, so if I go here, I will just go to note section. So in the note section, I'll just updating here. This is the, sorry, I'll just put it here like this. Cancel. Into. So I will go to the comment section. Otherwise, here in the tool sections, I will just add in the comment section that this will be the note we have to refer, right? So now with that understanding, let's move on to the today's next part. So we're discussing the guide, the ALP guide for this, and we have discussed yesterday till before governance. What is the configuration center? What are the key capabilities, right? So whenever I got many queries related to the configuration center from students. So I'm just going to do a small recap again here. So you have to ensure to access this configuration center, you're already having those related RBPs in place, right? And you also should have a, whenever you are doing this activity, you should have a source tenant and there is a target tenant, right? So what we do, so from source tenant, actually you should be able to view the entire list of configuration. You download those config file, and there will be something called source target pairing will happen once to initiate that activity, and it will check the check and validate that. Then only it will export the entire bundle to the target. Okay, so wherever you're sending to the target, again, the target tenant also, the target instance also, it will validate whatever you are exporting from the source tenant, right? Then only if there is no error and all, then it will continue. So it will import the bundle, and in case any kind of issues you're finding there, you will be getting that in a report, right? That will be your transport report. You will be finding that if it is successful or if it is a failure, you will be getting a detail about it. Okay, so that will be your typical configuration center, okay, capabilities, which you understood at high level. Now it is interesting topic, governance and summary. So towards the end, actually, we are just going to wrap up the governance and summary actually. So what do you mean by a governance typically? Suppose, let's say you are working for a multi industry or multi, you can say geography client, where you have a lot of, maybe your German, suppose you are having your instance in Germany, UK, India, and US, and some other countries as well. Okay, let's say you are, even if you are having instances, maybe you are having also multiple instances, right? So it requires a lot of collaboration. Even if you are working in a shared service setup, or even if you are having your center of excellence and all those stuff by your IT. But whenever you are having such kind of requirements, any kind of changes you are doing, it requires a lot of effort or collaboration between several teams, right? So to ensure everybody is in the same page, we have to do, generally as an architect, we recommend there should be a governance team, right? This is the IT governance, this is already there, HR governance, or you're from a system point of view, you can have a specific to SuccessFactors, you can have a system governance team also. It is highly recommended. And actually, this team, what does it do? Actually, the expectation is they will go beyond, think beyond the client team, whether it is any representative from HR, whether any representative from process owner or HRIS or IT, doesn't matter whether you are having a help desk. The idea is to help and bring in the discipline. So we should actually, as a best practice, SAP is recommending here quarterly. Okay, so maybe you will be having, maybe if your system is more complex on ad hoc, anything is required, maybe you can bring in more frequently, maybe a monthly basis. But quarterly is a good time that is a leading practice. So all of your system governance team, maybe geographically or maybe based on your requirement, you can bring in, even discuss these topics. Like you can plan. So it does not explain what exactly you do, but actually you can plan for the upcoming instance sync or instance config center copy and all those things you can plan. Is there any ongoing projects on the fly? Then you can also plan whether it is impacting or not, right? A lot of factors actually you have to think about it, because the way we think it is not so easy, but you have to discuss with all the stakeholders. Okay, if it is small organizations, it doesn't matter. Okay, but if with the 500, 200 employees, then it is very simple. So you don't have that much complexity if it's on only single country, but the complexity will rise the more the module you implement, and also if you are having a presence in multiple geographies, and in that case, it will be coming into picture. So in that case, you have to be very careful. So the system governance thing, you should, I think many of the organizations, they do have, but still you have to make it more systematic. If you do not have, plan for it, right? So that is on recommendations as an architect. And from a governance point of view, what are the things actually you can discuss? Yeah, so this is something, yeah, which I was saying, right? These are the 6 things you had discussed, like from a HR point of view, whenever you are discussing the instance management, all this. So this discussion topics can involve, these are the 6 different topics you can discuss, like what should be your, what is the currently happening in your current project. Maybe you are in second phase of your implementation, you are having 3 milestones or 3 waves of your projects. In the first wave, you have implemented EC, recruiting, onboarding. Second phase, you have planned for LMS, PMGM. Third phase, you might be planning for all the analytics module, right? So whenever you are discussing this kind of a topic, right, whenever you're doing the instance management discussion topic, you should always think of what is currently happening and what will be the upcoming. So these things should be in place. You have to also involve the project manager, the respective project managers who are working on the fly. So those things also you have to understand. Second thing is system release notes review. Okay, so every time SAP releases different notes, like every year, 2 times we do have it twice release, right? 1H and 2H, right? So these release notes also you have to refer in the what is new viewer, that you can find out also. Let me show you if you do not know, like what is new viewer, you can also check it out in SuccessFactor, SAP SuccessFactor. So now I think these things have changed a little bit, but what is new? So you can see SAP SuccessFactor, what is new. So this is thing. You have to ensure how does it impact your modules as well, right? For your respective modules, you can see it here. Okay, so we have a lot of filters. Okay, so currently as we speak, we are in 2H 2022 release, and the earlier one was previous one, which was released on the May. It was a 1H 2022. Now we are in 2H 2020 from this December. Okay, so here you will be finding for every modules, right, what are the key things have changed, and whether it is feature change, whether it is also, we can see there are some deprecation. You can see the from a life cycle, project life cycle, product life cycle point of view, right? What are the things that have changed? Those details you will be finding. Again, whatever the module you are going for, that module also can select from here. So maybe you are looking for only the platform fundamentals or any specific module like Employee Central Payroll, right? So let's say we're talking Employee Central, the core module, and I'm interested to look into what are the new things has come up. So you can see what are the changes, new changes. You can see, find out here. At the same time, if you are interested in any specific feature or specific configurations, okay, so you can also do that here. Okay, so let's say I would like to see any data model related changes is happening recently. I can see that. So this is the kind of a change happened recently, like data model to business configuration, UI6. So there's some enhancement, and this is the life cycle in the general availability. Okay, you can see that means you don't have to do much, but you have to see always the impact. How does it impact and all in your business? You can always think about it, right? So again, whenever you are seeing all these things, you can see always there is an arrow box. So you can just check it out when it was released. It is a December 9th release. So 2H 2022, right? So all the details you will be finding here. So you don't have to worry. So again, those always check it out. This what is new viewer and in SuccessFactor. So simply you can go here and check it out from here, right? So similarly, you can also have a download and you can just check it out, whatever the relevant things has been changed. And this is something should be part of your discussion. Even I have done the similar kind of activity in the past whenever I have to report, actually do the analysis in my previous organization. I was a part of a European project where actually I was involved doing this analysis every 6 months, right? So this is, I was also part of those governance related discussions, right? So this is something which you should do. So you can always download the CSV. You don't have to do much. Otherwise, if you are, this is also can be viewable directly. You can, if it is a universal configuration or not, that you can find out here, right? So those details you can find out from here, right? So this is something I thought of sharing with all of you. So this discussion, this is a handy thing. You have to come up and you will discuss regularly with in those governance meetings and all. So whatever the impact you are having. At the same time, you will be also finding many good documentations related to this, typically in our new SuccessFactor community. So you might be knowing that recently SuccessFactor has moved, community has moved to the mainstream of SAP community, right? So they were calling it as a group actually, not the community is renamed actually. So you'll be finding those details in the here. So previously it was community.success community. Yeah. So basically you can see there is a topic SAP SuccessFactor community, means it's a community.sap.to mainstream community. Okay. So earlier community you will find means they have migrated. So the earlier community was community.successfactor.com. So now you don't have to go there, and as such, it will be redirected actually. So it will be redirecting if you go, even if you go there, okay, so it will be redirected to you here. And here you will be finding all those details, recent content. If you're starting new, you can see here. And this is the documentation I will definitely recommend is whenever you are doing any kind of release updates, you will be finding all those documentation videos and very comprehensive thing directly from here. So this is at present as we speak, 2023 January, and this is the current release 2022, and you will be finding all those release highlights directly from here in a video, comprehensive video format, and it will be also help you in your typical Delta certifications also. So it's very small video, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, those highlights you will be getting like this. Yeah. So I'm not going to details. So you can watch them and you can go through these videos for each and every features, the recent release, and this will be part of your discussions, okay, whether that is impacting or not to your organization. And so those details you will be finding directly from here. Okay. So with that note, let's move on to our discussion. So here, as I say, system release notes, I mean that. So that is your what is new here, and from that you have to go for and you have to check it out, whatever is relevant, how it is impacting, whether it is a universal release or whether it is an opt-in or any specific opt-in releases or all. You can find out there. So the next one is refresh frequency and timing. So this is again, you need to decide how frequently you want to refresh your system and what should be the timing, most of the midnight, and also it should not impact any business during that period. You have to find out a sweet spot, and during that period only you have to time. And as we see that mostly once in a 6 month, or depending upon your need, again you can do those refresh activities and all, right? Then coming to your data integrity practices. Okay, so this is a very crucial topic. So we may have a detailed discussion on this topic some other day. What is you mean by data integrity? What is the data privacy protection? A lot of things, right? Especially in the European countries, if you're working, you have a lot of strict policies and like GDPR and all. And you will be getting, whether you are following those practices, whether let's say you are a global organization, your data, you are having employees working for, let's say, for Denmark, but they are residing in India. Okay, they are remotely working in India and some other places in the geography. but how the data security, data privacy, how you're taking care of, right? Because those data you are deciding to are keeping it in your system. Maybe there can be multiple things, but you have to check with your data privacy officer. If you have someone in your organization, involve them in this governance meetings and discuss with them, and what kind of data integrity practices your organization is following, whether it is aligned with the government, whatever your government is saying, right? So that kind of a practices you have to follow, and this discussion also you can bring into this kind of a discussion, right? So you can plan for that. And also next one is instance user access. Who will be getting what kind of access, those permissions and all those RBP related discussions should happen in your organization on a frequently, means during this governance meeting, if any issues over any complaints you have received, right? Those kind of ongoing tickets, how you can resolve those. Maybe do you have a dedicated person? If you're a large organization, it is recommended that there should be a dedicated person who will be handling the security part of it, right? SAP SuccessFactors security part, who will be dealing on a day-to-day basis with your all of your security aspects of it, like your giving the permission group, permission, all those things you can discuss. And maybe those details, permission roles, permission groups. I think I got a question. What is permission group, permission role, right? Okay, so that has been covered already in my platform fundamentals. You can look into it, but as you've asked, so I can show you a demo here. So maybe I will just quickly take you through that, to the demo. So let me show you if it is there. Quickly, I will show something. Getting started. Implementation and configurations. Let's say platform administration. Let me go there. Yeah, suppose if you want to have seeing some roles, you want to create a permission group and permission role. Let's say I will go to a permission group first. Okay, so I will show you how does it work and how we can actually how we can create a permission group. Okay, so this simulation will give you an understanding how you can create a permission group. So I will go to the system. I will go to search for manage permission groups. There are two things. Manage permission group will be there. Manage permission roles will be there. Go to manage permission group, and from there, go to create new. Then name that group name. Suppose you're targeting only the salesperson in your organization, and you are having some data which should the only sales department should access, right? So pick a name that it should be sales, right? And add a category in the people. So you can mention that there. Sales is a department, so just choose the department name, and who are the employees who are falling into that part of that department, they will be coming into this, right? So you have to select the sales department in your organization. In this scenario, let's say you are having different departments like finance, technology, HR, operations, talent management, marketing, software, all these departments you are having, but you are giving a specific authorization or specific permission to a particular group or particular department, let's say sales, right? So you just select that particular group here. Then after that, simply click done. Then once you are done, so this is the way you can create a permission group. And then after that, what you can do, you can simply assign. So now we can see the sales group the permission group has been created, right? So this is the way we can create. Now coming to the next part, we can see there is a permission role also we can create, right? Suppose if I go to the similar thing, so I will go to the typical SuccessFactors admin. Then from that, if I go here, I will go to permission role and manage permission roles there, and I have to create a role, whatever I need. Just click create new and name, give the name of that role. It will be a sales role. So then this is a very important step. So whenever you are creating a permission role, the permission settings, go there and click that particular permission. So what are the typical permission you want to give it? Just select that. Maybe general user permission you are giving, and you are giving all these details. And once it is done, simply now the sales role has been created. Now we can assign this role to a particular group. Okay, so this is just you'll be finding details. So if you go through my videos in other sections, right? So that you will be finding there. And if you want to see somebody's permission, that you can also check it out from here. So managing a role-based permission access. So from here, go there. Yeah. So this is a little old screen, but concept remains the same. Go to manage role-based permission access. And from that, right, you can add a user, search for the name for a particular person for whom you are searching for. Then go to that particular person, a particular user, then simply click that grant permission. What are the permission you want to give it, right? So in this way, so if you want to remove or if any access to a particular page you are giving or not, accordingly you can decide what kind of permissions you want to give or you don't want to give it, or remove those permissions. You can always control from there, right? So similarly, suppose if you want to view any kind of user permission, simply you can go there. Then you have to go to that particular user for whom you want to see the permission. So basically, go to view user permission, and from that, search for that particular user and click view permission. And this is the way you can so see what kind of permission role he or she has been assigned. From there, if I go further, I can see all those details. Okay, groups or users granted with the role permission for their targets. So all those details you can find out from here, right? So now we'll go to the home page, choose manage permission groups, and go to that particular user group. What are the groups have been already created? And from here, you can check out so what permissions given or not. So same step you have to follow, but this is a typical process we follow generally to have. Yeah. So I'm not going details about it because it's a part of your typical platform fundamentals. And in case you have not gone through it, I would recommend to go to the course actually. So there will be a specific course for this. So you can find out in the school.successlabsacademy.com. And platform fundamentals is a part of our silver subscription. In that we do have SAP HCM as well as your SuccessFactors platform fundamentals. So you'll be finding here. So it talks about basics, all details, and it has a one main course and 5 bonus course you'll be finding here, right? And it is highly recommended. Go for a platform fundamental this course, and it is have a detailed view whatever we are discussing. Maybe if you are not understanding in detail, you will be finding there are 15 video lessons, and you will be finding, and also there are some more sessions related to our doubt clear sessions and all those. So you'll be finding very useful this one. And yeah, so that's all from now. So now let's move on to the topic, governance topic. So this is how actually, I hope it is clear. Okay. Thank you for that update. So now let's move on to the next topic, downstream system impacts. Let's say this is more coming into picture whenever you are having any kind of integrations, right? So many times we have integration with SuccessFactors and other upstream, downstream systems, right? Inbound and outbound and all. So you have to always understand whenever you're doing any kind of integrations and all, what kind of impact, if any new changes, any kind of data field you are changing and all. So that in those cases, you will be finding that these are the things I have to change and all. So you'd always prepare a document. Okay, sit with your integration architect or HR architect and sit with all those consultants and all. Whenever you're planning any kind of integrations and all, so you have to understand what are the different implications you'll be having. So that also you have to bring in this kind of a governance discussions. So that was all about this governance piece. And when exactly these things will be coming? So activities and the process in instance governance, because this is as we are talking about instance strategy. So the governance is also can be named as an instance governance process, and it should provide a guidance. Actually, as an architect, myself being an architect, this is your job actually, part of your job. You have to provide a guidance because there are documentations, there are everything in place. The implementation partner will be in place, but everybody will be in place. But you have to actually influence your stakeholders as an architect right? So what are the new things you can do? What are the different strategies, the guidance? You are an advisor, right? You are as a player, role of an advisor or guide. You have to guide properly. And then this guidance can also come up throughout different cycle of the projects. If you are doing new implementations, okay? So to ensure that all initial configurations are completed in the development instance. And once it is done, again, what does this guide says? Actually, whenever you are moving again to test instance, you have to ensure that is copied. Okay. And once it is done again, you have to always ensure you have done system end-to-end testing, right? Testing plays a major role. Configurations are easy, but testing give more time to testing. It is not only for unit testing from your end or functional testing from your end, also give enough time for your UAT, user acceptance testing. Your definitely you will be having your user experience testing, like maybe some navigations and all, okay, and integration testing, okay, and also in case of parallel, many times if you are using EC payroll and payroll modules, the parallel testing will be involved. So there will be a separate discussion on this. That stay tuned. That will be part of in the upcoming episode. I've already planned for that. So it will be total 10 episode as of now, as we have planned. The testing strategy I'll be discussing in details in the episode number 9. Okay, so stay tuned for that. And you will be getting an email or a notification if you're watching my YouTube. From my YouTube, you'll be getting notified in the upcoming episodes as well. Okay, so now coming to our topic again. So here in new implementation, you play a major role. Once everything is tested, all are approved, there is no simple any bug or any means there's no no bug during your testing and all. There is no discrepancies. Definitely those configuration can be copied to the production instance. So that is your role actually. Whenever you have to ensure during this instance governance, everything is a green tick, right? When I say green tick, all the checkbox means we're during all the test scenario, all the test states, maybe whatever is in scope of your project, that is actually passed. Okay, so that in the instance governance should provide during new implementation strategy. This will be your guidelines. Now, second one, let's say you already went live. The project is live and all the system people have started. Your team members or business users, they've already started using the systems. But there may happen you are also having some production issues. It may happen many times. That's why AMS is coming to picture. Application maintenance support projects, the day-to-day work in the production issues and actually. Okay, so if your implementation is very high quality implementation, there will be less effort in the production. There is a chances of getting tickets very less. Maybe you will be receiving some customization request or maybe some enhancement request, but not the typical issues, the bugs and all, right? Defects, right? So, but still, I have seen many organizations, due to some lack of experience, knowledge, people implement like anything. Consultants like, so they implement like what of the clients they've asked without considering the design strategy or typical success factor. So they went ahead, whatever the client have asked, just said, yes, we can do. And they didn't say no to the client, and they configured whatever maybe without considering any impact. Definitely there will be some bugs, side effects, whatever you are doing. Okay. So in those kind of event or any kind of a critical production issues, whatever you're having, right? So you have to ensure those root cause analysis is a very good strategy. Whenever you are doing solving any issues, do not focus too much into the how to solve the issue, rather try to understand the root cause, so that just that issue will not or may not come in the future. Just like a doctor, right? So we have to identify whenever a patient is coming, he will also ask a lot of questions to understand the patient, that what could be the root cause. That's the actually ideal good doctor, right? So I'm not a doctor in that sense, although I'm pursuing my PhD and leadership analytics. But like a doctor, you have to also think about whenever you are a system doctor, you are a practitioner. Also, we use the same term for our consultants, like, right? So as a practitioner or HR technology for SuccessFactors practitioner, it is your duty to understand the root cause whenever you're getting any tickets or any ServiceNow tickets or any incidents you are receiving if you're working in a support project, right? So you have to understand the root cause actually. So in those cases, okay, you have to find, once you've identified the issue, fix the issue in your test means your preview instance and all, then you test it using in your test instance. Okay. And in case any product update is releasing happening, if it is in advance the preview stack, you to ensure that 30 days of period is not overlapped, right? And you to ensure whatever the testing you are doing, it is qualifying, it's not impacting any other things in your entire end-to-end scenario. Do an integration testing as well, or whenever it is needed, right? And also do end-to-end all the testing, and also it is any impacting any other product or any other activities in your system, right? So once you have to ensure, right, basically once tested and approved, the configuration change is copied to the production instance, and to ensure the consistent configuration is actually across your landscape, it is there. So as a advisor, okay, as an architect or as a consultant or a practitioner, you have to ensure whenever you test the one thing, you have to understand the root cause and ensure. Second thing, after that is fixed, you have to ensure the configuration is inconsistent in whatever configuration you're having in the preview, and this is also same thing in the production as well, right? That is your duty. Third one, interesting, evaluation of a new features, right? Many times during your generally this H1, H2 or 1H, 2H releases every year, twice in a year, SAP brings in new features, all right? And you have to also, there are some universal upgrade that you don't have to think of because those are automatically done. But there are some things which are opt-in, admin opt-in. So you have to think. So you have to prepare use cases and whether it is impacting, whether it is how does it impact, and all those things you have to think about it. And once it is done, you have to evaluate those releases, whether it can be done in the initial configuration, definitely to be done in the development or test instance. Then once it is done, then copy it into a test, your preview instance and all. Then after that, in case any regression testing is needed and user experience testing, UAT can be done, you have to just verify that, then you move it to production. So that's a typical practice we follow. Generally, we do it directly in the preview, then production, from my understand. And in case of payroll, generally that's a 3 tier. Fourth one, training. Okay, so training is very important because whenever if you're in the initial phase of your projects, many of the issues queries come in because due to the lack of training, right? If the administrator or the people who are handling the system, if they are educated well, your life is easy. As a support consultant, I'm saying this is from my experience. If they are not educated well for simple things, they will be raising a lot of queries, and that is where we have nowadays SAP Enable Now, WalkMe, all those products. Actually, these are, you might have heard or not, I do not know, but actually these are the tools actually which can improvise the user experience from a training point of view, right? So these are the tools, WalkMe, Whatfix. Okay, so you can just, if you want to search for that, so they actually I will recommend to go for that tool. So in SAP has its own, we call it SAP Enable Now. Might be people who have worked in SAP LMS and all, you might be aware of it. So this is an actually a very good tool. Okay, it is part of your SAP thing. Okay, so we can explore this tool. Okay, and part of the tools we are using, what are demo I have shown to you, right? This is again prepared using that SAP Enable Now. Okay, so it is too easy. Okay, so you can see that SAP your Enable Now. Similarly, there are other non-SAP products like we do have WalkMe, which I'm using in one of my projects as well currently. So WalkMe is a tool. Again, it's an extension. WalkMe, it can be also integrated with your SuccessFactors, Salesforce, whatever you say it. Okay, all measure with SuccessFactors. So they do have many organizations, they also use it, right? So I'm not promoting, but yes, we do have this kind of you'll be finding those details here, right? So it can be integrated. Okay, so from a training point of view, this will be very easy actually. So you don't have to need much details training. So once this is in place, so it will be just a guided experience for you. System will tell that go there, go to second steps, third click will be here, fourth click will be here, and it will be guiding. You don't require a typical full-fledged trainer. Basic things you may require, but this is something we call it also a digital adoption platform, right? So there is a new terminology, and this is very hot in the market because organizations are investing in a lot in the technology, but they do not adopt it well. So there is for that reason, actually, there is a surge in this kind of a category. So you can, this is also another good tool, which actually I have used personally. What fix? Okay. So what fix? This is actually also a digital adoption platform, more of a educating people and all. So I have just told you two names which are non-SAP product today. Hope you understood. You can also try this thing free of course, free trial you can do. And this will be just to enhance or maximize the productivity and user adoption. Because even if you whatever the great tools you bring in, whether it is SuccessFactor, SAP SuccessFactor, Workday, Oracle, whatever you say it, right? But if your organization is not able to adopt it, if they are not able to utilize those products, there is no value at the end of the day, and there is no good ROI. What are the investment you are doing in your whatever in your tools, right? So definitely, these are the tools. But I generally I have used in person. So this is what fix. So there are so many are there, but this is something which I have personally used. So one is your SAP Enable Now, which is the SAP inbuilt. And for this, you may require an additional license, but you have to check with your sales team, right? What kind of licensing you are having. And second, two tools which I have discussed, these are actually non-SAP tool like WalkMe, and the third one is your WhatFix, right? So these are the things you may have to explore, right? So this is a digital adoption tool, okay? So digital, yeah. So you have to go through that. So that is the part of your training. So all kind of screen capture in the training material, in the documentation, this will be used. And if you are not in the midst of a testing cycle, so what they are saying, actually, you should proper training should be given, right? And there should not be any conflict in your screenshot. Typically, when I 6 years back, when I was doing preparing this kind of a training materials, it was all Word documents. And actually, so I have given in a lot of Word document trainings material for those organizations, clients, and all. But it was I have hardly seen ever they have used it. But nowadays, everybody is using video. Video is becoming a popular trend, right? Whether it is in the popular social sector, means also. So you'll be finding those people prefer video documentations and all. You can provide those video materials and also screen capture using these three tools, digital adoption platform, DAP platform, which I told to you, whether it is SAP Enable Now or any other third-party tools like WalkMe or Quadfix, you can utilize it. Now coming to your, so these are all different activities which should be, which as an architect or as a consultant, as a practitioner of SuccessFactor, you should give your thought. Okay, these are different processes. So I hope it was clear. And this is a very important topic. Now, next one is the configuring the copy path. Okay. So whenever you are doing any kind of new implementation or a testing, right? So you will be having this kind of a thing. So you will be having SuccessFactors generally follow two instance strategy, but still if you have something, so whenever you're doing a copy file, especially in the payroll part, okay. So in the payroll part, we do all the configuration in the dev environment, right? All those SPRO and all those stuff, right? And product release new features also tested in the dev, but it will be a preview stack. Okay? That will be a preview stack, right? And then copy or configurations, those configurations. When I say dev, do not get confused with a SAP HCM development. This can be a preview instance, right? Then once you are done, so those configurations can be migrated to the test instance. And what are the product release features you are having, and automatically it will have available in the test or production stack. And after that, on the release date, then in case any optional feature, they can be activated from the upgrade center. Okay, so people who are new, so you can check it out. What is an upgrade center? Maybe you can comment in the chat if you're watching it from the YouTube. Just put your comment. What is an upgrade center? Okay, I will read your comment. Right. Then after any kind of validations, if you're doing after testing and configurations and all, you have to move those releases and it can be activated in your production. Okay. So this is one scenario. Okay, so whenever you are doing any kind of a new implementation or testing any kind of a new features, you have to follow this path. Okay. The next one is the configuring, means the fixes to the production issues. Suppose you are having some issues in the production. Okay. So configuration or to production issues is done in the test. Okay. So in the test actually. Okay. And after through thorough validation, configurations are migrated to production and to dev simultaneously. Okay. What does it mean? So any kind of test means you are doing any kind of fixing. Okay. You can do it in the preview, means in this instance, wherever you are doing this, let's say test environment or test instance. And from there, if you are validating, okay, in the preview instance, then after that, those configuration, it will be moving to the both the system, that is the production as well as the preview instance or dev system, I can say, right? So do not get overwhelmed or get confused with these terminologies, but based on the landscape and all, you have to, this is just a suggestion, but you can check it out as your own, right? So now next one is the instance refresh schedule. What is actually recommended? If you're having already Employee Central in place, it is recommended to refresh the development and test instances from production instance to secure 100% of configuration alignment, right? And after the refresh, you can do the data scrambling or anonymization may be needed to the data protection reasons, because we cannot have all those data as it is in the production. Maybe we have to mask those data. We can do that data scrambling exercise. So what is the data scrambling? Again, the second question for today. You just mention if you're watching it from the YouTube, and just mention what do you mean by a data scrambling, or another thing, the data anonymization. What do you understand by that? You're watching it from a platform, definitely you can also put in the community sections, or if you're watching from the YouTube, you just put it in the chat. So now coming here, so you can see that, so whenever we are doing an instance refresh, actually it happens from here in the first step. And once it is done, okay, so both to the dev and training instance, this is a preview, pre-production instance, you can say this is a pre-production instance, and preview or production, you can say, and preview, you do the refresh first. So periodically you refresh those details. And after that, refresh means, as I have mentioned, what is the refresh again? You do the copy of your both configuration as well as your data, right? Sync means only your configuration. Whenever I say refresh, do the both. Once it is done, so then you have to do definitely the data scrambling exercise or anonymizations for that. Okay, you can see the numbering is also there. First, do the instant refresh from production to basically dev preview, dev preview production. Then we have a test. Then we do a second activity with your data anonymization or a scrambling exercise. You can perform that, right? Then if you're not having Employee Central, go do a similar kind of activity. Actually, you can start it from here, from the test environment to this production environment to this thing, and do after that you do the data anonymization or the data scrambling exercise. You can do that, right? So now coming to the next one. This is so now almost we have another 10 minutes to go. So we'll try to summarize what we have learned so far in the 2 episodes, yesterday's and today. Why this instance strategy is very, very critical. So it is very critical for any kind of an implementation project, or you are doing any kind of an optimization project. This strategy must be designed, socialized, and agreed upon to the project, right? When I say socialized, there should be proper communication. What actually you're planning, those governance, it should be in place, right? It should be those kind of discipline you should bring in, right? And you should have any kind of landscape changes or anything. So you should have always a collective understanding from all the party, involve all stakeholders, whether it is a technology business, from every in your organization, who are the users, key users, or admin, super admin users, all those key stakeholders this would be aware of this, that you're doing all these things. And also there should be a proper communication channel for this, right? So there are some key steps, from a success, from a focus area, from an instance strategy design. Those are very important. So start planning. Planning is very important for any organizations, strategies, or any whatever you do. Planning is very important in your everywhere. So you don't have to wait till the project is kicking up. So before the project is kicking up, let's say project is kicking up in April 2023, you have to at least plan 90 days before, because again, accordingly, you have to do those strategy, those resourcing, and all those things, a lot of things. 90 days again, very small period I have told, and I have seen people do plan it for 6 months at least before that, right? So start planning early, understand the policies, your audit policies, IT protocols, where exactly if you're a technology consultant, you may not have all the visibilities, but talk to those people who are a policy expert, audit expert. You might be having many of the organizations that do have their internal auditor, right? So those auditors, securities, all those people they need to be consulted, whatever strategy you are following or governance you are following, right? The next one is gain familiarity with the terminologies, because there is where people who are not aware of this terminology, you have to maybe some training sessions, some you can conduct on a regular basis just to make the awareness of SuccessFactors products and what the different terminology, what are the different platforms, right? And the fourth one is document whatever the alignment you are discussing based on your client's landscape, right? That you have to always document. Then once it is done, next one is testing. Test it very well in test in advanced test from different angle, right? It can be your functional testing, it can be UAT, your user acceptance testing, it can be your whatever you can say, right? So all those testings you should do on advanced, and you should be very clear about your testing approach. You should be having a proper testing strategy document, okay? Then also you should have a, during your cutover activities, there should be a proper mock cutover, okay? Start small, do not upload everything whenever you're doing data migrations, right? Maybe you can, if you're having uploading, let's say 80,000 employees, start with, let's say 300, 200 starting, and you test it out from covering all the departments from your organization. Then you just confirm whether it is working fine or not, it is looking proper or not. Then you just go for the, in a sequential basis, you can upload and all those things, right? So you can try that. So now, as I said, this is very important. Involve all the key stakeholders in documenting landscape needs and expectations. This is where architect play a major role. As an architect or as an advisor or a project manager, definitely you have to understand what are the different needs and expectations, involve everyone for that reason. Okay, maybe you may not fulfill all the requirements, but take those requirements, take those user stories in advance, so that at least you can plan. That's how you can also define the delivery timeline on that, right? So that you have to always think about in advance. Last one is a plan for how instance will be used post go live during the phased rollout. Maybe you are going a live big bang, or if you are doing a phased rollout, according to you have to plan how the instance will be used in your upcoming days, right? So this is a quick summary. With that, actually now we are in the last page of it, and some additional resources as I have already told. So there are the different documentations are available. Your ALP, this is again in the upcoming episode we'll be covering, don't worry. And this is a instancing tool which I have already shown to you, the documentation part, right? So this is something which I have talked about, that SAP KBA instance refresh tool. And also there are different IDP tools like implementation design principles, which we'll be discussing in the upcoming. Once our ALP series is over, we'll be starting with the IDP series, that is your implementation design principles. So we'll be having a couple of episodes on that as well. And in that, we'll be discussing end to end what are the things are there. And here we will be referring those official IDP documents, and we will be going in depth. Okay, so in details, maybe I'll be having more Q&A during that point of time, because you might be always familiar about those ALP guides. IDP will be more in details. It's more of a comprehensive guide to understand more from a client's specific scenarios. We'll be going through that, and we will be continuing with that, right? So with that note, now we will be going to our this part. So we have seen all these things. We'll be upcoming things. We'll be seeing all these details, instance refresh and all. And with that, there are some updates here. So this is already we have discussed how we can raise an instance refresh tool. So there is an instance refresh tool, which is self-service guide. You can refer the particular note, which I've already discussed. And also you can raise a support request via ticket. So you have to check out all these dependencies and all, and you can also achieve it, right? So this is something. So these are the details which is we have seen whenever you are what kind of rules you can apply, right? So these are again some additional materials. I will recommend to go through it. We're not going through details, but you just the last 4 or 5 slides, okay? Go through it, and if you have any questions, definitely we will be discussing. This is again module specific for like if you're implementing employee central payroll, okay? So what are the things you have to do, right? So any extra instance, whether it is needed or not, that you have to decide as per your requirement. So those things actually they have discussed in this slides, okay? If you're using, let's say, educate and develop, that is a track, okay? Like your workforce analytics or SAP Jam or work zone, right? What will your strategies and all that actually will be finding here, okay? This is something which is actually you need to go through in details. But to summarize what we have seen today, so from today's lessons, we'll just quickly do a quick mind map. So we talked more about the governance today. So let's move on to the here. So we will see here in the second instance strategy. So this is something we have already seen it yesterday. So today we talked about more of the governance. So in the governance category, we have seen these are the 4 scenarios which you have discussed, right? So that we will be focusing on. This is the governance category. And in that, those 4 scenarios, what we have seen during your implementations, one was implementations. Then second one is any production issues, production support, you can say. There is a different governance strategy. And third one we have discussed, that is your, I think it was a training or something like that. Evaluation of a new features. So this is the evaluation, any kind of new features you are evaluating. So your role comes into picture, implementation, production support, then evaluation of new features, any kind of training or education. And from here, actually, I talked about the 3 tools, just to remember those names. Okay, so one is your typical SAP Enable Now, which most of the organizations these days they follow it. It is easy to use. Okay, then we do have another non-SAP products like non-SAP. In the non-SAP, we have seen there are 2 things. There are many, but I'll just tell you 2 names: WalkMe and WhatFix. Okay, so for the time being, I'm also putting the link so that you can go there and watch those videos or check out those blogs to understand more about it, right? So you can let me go there. The comment section, I will put the link. So this is for WalkMe, and for WhatFix, we do have this one. Let's say if you are having any WhatFix specific to SuccessFactors, let's say, with SuccessFactors. If any blog is there, let me check it out for you. Yeah, we do have SuccessFactors. Yeah, make SAP SuccessFactors easy to use. Yeah, so you can check it out, right? And what other organization they are using, they also have those details. Self-servicing and all. So this is which the term which I have introduced, that is called digital adoption platform. Actually, it is another leader in the Forrester report as well. So they call it a digital adoption platform. Okay. So what I will put it here, I will rather call it the DAP platform, digital adoption platform, and I will bring in this solutioning so that you will be finding it very helpful and useful. At least if you're working or you're planning to utilize these tools in your upcoming days in the projects, it will be very easy for you, right? Definitely the WalkMe and WhatFix if you're using, definitely those consultants will be helping you, okay? Because this is their product, okay? But you have to understand how does it work, how does it integrate. So I will just put it here. One is from SAP Enable Now, and non-SAP DAP product is your WalkMe and WhatFix, right? Now, after understanding this part of it, let's go to the next part. This is the main thing, okay? Then in your discussion topics, what are the key topics generally we will be discussing in the typical governance meetings actually? Discussion points, 6 key discussions area. It can be more, but as of now, these are the 6 things which you can discuss in a typical discussion, and that will be your HR project and system project review. Yeah, I will put it like this. HR program and system project review. Second one will be your system release note. As I have said, that what is new viewer, you have to always check it out. From that, you have to understand what is new, and that link also I'm giving here. So that will be your this one, system review. You will be finding directly, yeah, this is the release related to this thing. Okay, those release videos and all you'll be finding, and you will be finding all those details here. This is the area, SAP SuccessFactors 2H release, right? So this is the series you have to follow. Okay, so Also, you can find it out from here, what is new here, right? As I say, so I'll just go to the main page of it, what is new. And from that, you have to pick up your module, which module actually you are looking for. Okay, specific module. And you'll be having all the filters here. This main link I'm putting here in this mind map, so that you don't have to get confused. System release review. I'll put in the comment section for it. Let me put it here. Yes. So now the third part is, so HR program and system project review. Definitely you have to talk to your project manager, and definitely you have to involve all the product owners, scrum master if you're following, and all the stakeholders, you have to involve them. So next one is refresh frequency and timing. Again, it is can be your every 6 months, but you have to ensure you are not overlapping with those blackout period of 1 month during that upgrade. Okay, so 1H, 2H releases, right? So refresh frequency and timing. So that's again, you have to plan it very well. Data integrity. So you can ensure you are following whatever the data integrity principles you are following, right? So as per if you're residing in Europe and all, that's GDPR and your country specific stuff you are following. Okay, that is data integrity. Then data privacy, instance user access and permission, that should be also come into picture when it comes to the governance point of view. So these are 6 things maybe you have to follow. Okay, maybe this can be looks like very unpopular topic, but you'll understand the importance once you get some issues and you do not know how to solve it. If you are having all the 6 things in the place, right, and there's those discussions happening on a regular basis, okay, you are having a proper cadence on this, definitely you don't have to worry much in your projects, right? So this is something you have to ensure. The last one is from an integration point of view, it is very important. So any kind of integration, already if you're doing or if you have planned, ensure what could be the upstream downstream impacts, right? And those impacts, do some proper documentation, understand those details from your respective people who are involved in those integrations and all. So start small, but do it in a very good way, right? So that is a recommendation. So this is something which we have discussed in this discussion areas. Now coming, so I think we have crossed time. Already we have discussed, this is something which you have repeated, right? Nothing much. So this is something we have to understand. Okay. So with that note, so we'll stop here. So hoping you have enjoyed the session today. And if you have any questions, any doubts, you can always put in the comment section if you're watching it from my community channel, or if you're watching it from my platform, feel free to ask those questions in the community sections, right? So you can ask them and simply log in as a student. And once you log in as a student, and you will be finding those details in the community section. You'll be having a discussion thread in that, and you will be finding those details. Okay, so just to people who are new, I'm just repeating the same thing once again. So you have to just go to this, go to the community. This is what I have logged in as a student. Now what I can do for any particular course, if you have any question, definitely you can ask, or directly you can also go to the community section and you can ask questions directly from here, right? So you can see there are so many discussion threads in my community. So we have for every modules, we do have, right? So we can ask questions if you are having, as we are running more of a platform fundamentals these days, right? So you can ask all these questions under platform fundamentals, right? On your specific question, if you're having any specific to EC or any specific module, right? So you can ask there as well. Suppose how to ask a question, simply you have to go here. Okay, I can see also there are people have asked questions in the past also. Okay, can we clone this? Okay, so all these things you can ask, and you can simply put it here, and maybe you can choose your any specific thing. Let's see if you're not falling into any asking any specific question, maybe related to the ALP, related to any question. If you're asking, just put it here. So let's say you are asking questions related to instance sync admin guide or any specific thing. You can simply go here and you can ask here, like let's say ALP for, or if you're not falling into this, let's say you can ask me anything. In that section, you can ask like, maybe it will be getting a screen like this, and you can type it out here. Maybe you can also, if you're having any screenshot, you can also attach a screenshot, upload an image, Okay, if you are any smart videos while doing any kind of a practice where any issue, you can also put the video. Also, you can put any documentations, document what document any issue in any format. Or if you're having a simple simple questions, right? You can also ask here. Okay, suppose let's say while going through this documentations or this understanding, okay, so you need let's say you have a questions related to your governance or data integrity. So you talked about the data integrity, right? Data integrity practices. Maybe you are having a question on this. What are the best practices for data integrity, right? So what are the key principles, or let's say, what are the best practices for data integrity, right? So you can ask question like this, or if you are having any specific to uh, like India, suppose you are working from India or US, do you have any regulations like of GDPR in GDPR for other countries like definitely there are some draft plans already in place like India, Southeast Asia, I can say in general, South Asia, I can say, South Asia countries. Maybe you can also talk to your data expert, data integrity, those people and all. So simply once you do it, so simply you have to just click post. So this is a simple process. Okay, so you can also somebody can comment, somebody likes that. Okay, so this is the kind of simple social media features we have enabled. You will be finding here, right? So now with that note, now what I will do, I will so if you have any questions, so otherwise related to the career and all, simply you can go to support, click the support, okay, and you can also give your name and email and comment section. You can also listen in touch if you're not a member of it. Okay, so simply you can. So this is how the page looks like, the support page, and you can connect with me. So there are different channels. If you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, you can always go there. Okay, there are some beautiful things. It is there, so it is still growing and all. So you can subscribe, and from this is my channel, and you can share with other people as well. Right. So as we're going live with this, so you can see this is a live YouTube session, right? So you can see, and also there is a track going on for Workday as well. So that if you're interested, you can go for. And whatever the playlist you are interested, you can choose your playlist. I do have a lot of playlists here, like for Workday one is for integration related topic, one for HR tech career related topic, or another for compensations. Then we have how to series. Okay, so this is something will be growing library, and the good part is actually you'll be finding a lot of details here. And but for more mentoring point of view, if you want more help and all, you can always connect with me. There is a paid membership, and you can always go for that as well. Okay, so that will be more in-depth value sessions. So you'll be having more in-person sessions. You'll be having. Okay, so that's all for now, and we will stop here. And as we have discussed, we will be starting with a new episode tomorrow. That will be the role-based permission related framework. Okay, so we will be discussing. So with that note, I will just simply click it and make it as a complete. That is a green. Okay, so I'll make it a green that we have completed today. This session. Hope you enjoyed the sessions. Let me put it like this. Right. So now with that note, I'm signing off. Thank you very much for joining in. So see you soon again tomorrow at the same time. Stay tuned. Bye-bye.